For years, people have argued about the ending of The Sopranos. Did Tony Soprano die in that diner? Or did something even darker happen? The truth is, the show actually tells us exactly what happened. But you have to notice three clues most people miss. And once you see them, the final scene becomes terrifyingly clear. The ending of The Sopranos did not leave us without an answer. It gave us the answer in the darkest way possible. Your TV did not cut out. David Chase did not troll the audience. And the final cut to black was not random. It was the moment everything stopped. For Tony Soprano. To understand why that final black screen means so much, you have to understand what Tony had become by the end. Because this is not just the story of whether Tony died. This is the story of what power did to him, what fear did to him, and why there was only one way his story could end. The final scene takes place in a small diner. Tony walks in. He sits down. He orders onion rings. Journey begins playing on the jukebox. And slowly, one by one, the people in Tony's life start arriving. Carmela walks in. Ajay sits down. Meadow is outside trying to park the car. Everything looks normal. But the tension in the room keeps growing. Because every time the diner door opens, the bell rings. Tony looks up. And the camera shows us exactly what Tony sees. Bell rings. Tony looks up. We see the door. We see the people walking in. Again. And again. And again. Without realizing it, the show is teaching us a pattern. Bell rings. Tony looks up. We see Tony's point of view. And then something strange happens. Right at the very end, the bell rings one more time. Tony looks up, and instead of showing us what he sees, the screen cuts to black. That moment is not random. It is the answer. Because if the pattern holds, the black screen is Tony's point of view. And that means Tony doesn't see anything after that moment, because there is nothing left to see. But the show actually gave us another clue years earlier, in one quiet line of dialogue, one line that suddenly becomes chilling when you remember it. Tony and Bobby are sitting together talking about death, and Bobby says something simple. You probably don't even hear it when it happens. Think about that. When the screen cuts to black, in the diner, we don't hear a gunshot, we don't hear screaming, we don't hear panic. We hear nothing. And that is exactly what Bobby described. If Tony was killed in that diner, he would never see it coming. His life would simply stop, mid-sentence, mid-song, mid-onion ring. But there is one more piece of the puzzle. The man in the members-only jacket. Throughout the final scene, the camera keeps returning to him. He walks in. He sits at the counter. He glances toward Tony's table. And eventually, he stands up and walks toward the bathroom. That detail matters. Because in mafia storytelling, the bathroom is not just a bathroom. In The Godfather, Michael Corleone retrieves a gun from the bathroom before committing his first murder. It is one of the most famous scenes in film history. And David Chase knew exactly what he was referencing. A man walks into the bathroom. The tension builds. And Tony keeps looking up every time the bell rings. But there is one last heartbreaking detail. Meadow. Tony's daughter is outside trying to park the car. She struggles. She pulls forward. She backs up. Again and again. And while she's outside, the tension inside the diner keeps building. Because Meadow being outside changes everything. If she had walked through that door just a few seconds earlier, she might have been sitting right beside Tony. She might have blocked the angle. She might have changed the moment. But she doesn't. Instead, The bell rings. Tony looks up, and everything goes black. But the ending of The Sopranos is not just about whether Tony died, it is about the life he created. By the end of the series, Tony Soprano has built an empire of fear. He cannot trust anyone. Friends betray him. Enemies surround him. Even ordinary moments become dangerous. Every stranger might be a killer. Every door might hide death. Tony spent his entire life chasing power, but power never made him safe. It only guaranteed one thing, that every time a door opened, he would have to look up and wonder, is this the moment? And in the end, that moment finally arrived. The bell rings. Tony looks up, and everything goes black.